state your name.
I'm out here right now, right? I'm supposed to be there,
Do
but
solemnly swear.
hey, it's true friend DJ Chill with a guy. Look,
that I will support,
she's going in, yo.
Obey and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States.
I know, yeah, you already know me. Chill.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Go, girl, we about to
Home Charter. And the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter. And that I will.
I'll make everybody mad, baby.
Discharge the duties. Discharge.
I know you gonna get it.
As mayor of Philadelphia.
Here we go.
With my
What's today's date? Today's my favorite number 2. January 2nd, 2024. Nigga, I walked through the front door. I ain't there, so I ain't there, yo, what's up? Hey, PrT about to do something on the Joe. Congratulations. Oh yeah, I made a new song for sure well before she won election. I'll let you listen. Can y'all see it?
We were also joined by
there's my dog.
Commonwealth Court Judge who hails from South Philadelphia.
Exactly, yeah. Damn, my bulls is in the back. There's so many people now I know, man. You know what?
To serve the certificate of election of the Honorable Sherelle L. Parker.
I even know Josh. Girl, what's up, Doc?
Sherelle L. Parker, an election held November 7, 2023. You were duly elected mayor of the city of Philadelphia for a 4-year term, commencing the first Monday of January, 2024.
Members of City Council, Reverend clergy, elected officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor to present to you her honor. The mayor of the city of Philadelphia, the Honorable Sherelle L. Parker.
I took a picture with Sherelle. You know, there's another picture. Oh, let me get that picture too. Yeah. Did it, y'all.
To be standing here with my family and friends and my village, including South King Council President Kenyatta Johnson gave her props for being from South Philly. But Mr. President, in 2005, she was in Harrisburg swearing Sherelle Parker in. And I'm referring to none other than my good friend, senior municipal court judge here in our great city of Philadelphia, Lydia Kirkland. Give her a huge round of applause.
Yeah.
To have my oath of office administered today by none other than the Honorable Marsha L. Fudge.
YouTube. Wait a minute.
You need to know that, you know, she was so
YouTube.
humble when she just came up here.
SC ready.
But I was 2 years young in this dynamic sisterhood called Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. When she became our 21st national president. And for my sorors who are in the audience and also my Divine Nine brothers and sisters, you know how sacred this moment is for me right now to have her here me. You heard her mention that she was a former mayor, yeah, but as usual, what she didn't tell you is that she was the first female and the first African-American mayor of Warrensville Heights, Ohio. She's the former congresswoman from the 11th district, and she is currently the 18th secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, but she's here today in her own right. Did I say it right? This is surreal. I could have never have imagined this. Thank you, Jesus.
Say it,
Come
girl.
on, Shirley Ralph, where are you? Thank you. You cut your vacation short to be here. You could have been in Hollywood right now, but you chose to be here. And I want you to know that I'm grateful. Let me start by thanking my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
for whom all things are possible. And for those of you who know me and you know my life, you know that's not a lie for me. I wouldn't be standing here today were it not for the grace and mercy of God. It is with that in mind that I say Happy New Year to you, the great city of Philadelphia.
Woo, 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 y'all. Let's go. It's on now.
Our Council President Johnson.
I love it.
Newly elected Council President Johnson. It sounds good when we say it. Say Council President
another one.
Johnson.
That's not one.
This is
Yo,
going
man.
well, Mr. President. We know how to do this thing called call and response, so we're going to be able to get a whole lot done
Look.
together as partners. Give
Chill,
our
what's
Council
up, Chill?
President a huge round of applause.
Yo,
To him and to all our members of City Council, the leadership, and all of the members who are elected, to our faith leaders who are present, all of our role officers, thank you so very much for being here, and congratulations to each of you. I also want to say to our former mayors who are here, some could not be here. Former Mayor Green, Mayor Good is here. Trailblazing, trend-setting, history-making, first black mayor of the city of Philadelphia, W. Wilson Good is here.
Wilson Good, he came in my
Want to acknowledge Mayor
family
Rendell,
union,
and to Mayor John F. Street,
mayor.
who made the Neighborhood Transformation Initiative a thing people will never forget. Mayor Nutter could not be here, but he visited me yesterday. And to my good friend, the 99th mayor of the city of Philadelphia, a gentleman who made improving parks, rec centers, and libraries his number one priority, but he also understood that if we would give 3- and 4-year-olds throughout the city of Philadelphia access to the opportunity to get an early childhood education, that by the time they got into kindergarten when they were 5 years old, they would be prepared to compete with children who had come from more privileged families. So when people ask you about his legacy, I want you to tell them about Mayor Jim Kennedy's effort to educate our children, and not just through Rebuild, but through Philadelphia PeCiaL Pre-K. Give them a round of applause, please.
Son, dog. Well, God, baby. Thank you,
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, this live, y'all. Sorry, y'all don't understand.
Our U.S. Senator Casey is here. Our Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis is here. And Congress members Evans, Boyle, and Scanlon are here, along with Speaker McClinton, and members of the Pennsylvania General Assembly are here, along with the judiciary. And I'm not sure if it's true, but someone told me that we have Mayor Eric Adams from New York City here. Is Mayor Eric Adams here somewhere? Wherever you are, hello, Mr. Mayor. I need to stop right here for a second. And he's not expecting this, but I have to give credit where credit is due. The gentleman who served as a council member for the 5th District, along with our council president, who I often refer to as my big brother, Council President Darrell Clark, I want you to know that
hey, Dad, what's up, man? You already know who this
was
is.
not something that a whole lot of people ever expected us to do. They wanted us to stay caught up in the past because Council President Johnson, he's got this thing planted in my brain right now about a new day. You've been talking about a new day. And when he and I started working together, people thought we were going to get caught up in the antiquated, outdated, territorial, tribal warfare that was dying street against, Bill Gray and black people just fighting each other for no darn reason at all. And we got a chance to work together when you were president and I was a member of the Pennsylvania General Assembly. We did some amazing work for the city of Philadelphia, and we laid a strong foundation that we would later build on. And I want to give credit where credit is due and say, big bro, I wouldn't be here standing today on this strong legacy were it not for you. Give Darrell Clark a huge round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Well deserved. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank each of our elected officials for being here. The reason why it was important for me to go through that list is because for those of you who will take a stroll back mentally and remember the primary election and the general election, I kept talking about a thing that a lot of people were laughing at me about. It was called intergovernmental cooperation and planning. And I was saying to people that if it was God's will and they gave me access to the opportunity to become mayor of this city of Philadelphia, that I alone wouldn't be able to solve the complex issues that were facing us, but instead we would have to have an intergovernmental cooperation and planning arrangement at every branch of government. Now, I hope Philadelphia, because I'm going to talk about this in a second, that you understand what we just did. You just saw the Secretary for the United States Housing and Urban Development here. And
Squad 9, stand up, baby.
You just saw and heard me mention our Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, our United States Senator Bob Casey, our congressional delegation is here. Money bags, appropriations chairmen in both House and the Pennsylvania General Assembly, Jordan Harris on the House side, and my good friend and my brother and my therapist, State Senator Vincent Hughes, Democratic Appropriations Chairman on the Senate side. And then you've got the lady who keeps all of the order and keeps the structure going, and our Speaker of the House, Joanna McClinton.
So what?
If we miss this opportunity to deliver in a meaningful way for the city of Philadelphia, not just for the next 4 years, but the work that we do now, it should be a foundation for the future. Our children should be saying in every neighborhood that they go to, wow, we saw on a video, well, they don't even do videos, they streamed it, whatever they did, will do for this day in the future. And some of the things that they talked about, they got done. Council President Johnson, to every leader whose name I just mentioned, if we don't get, I'm not talking about incremental change. I'm talking about bold, transformative steps that when people walk outside of their houses, they can touch, see, and feel the results of our labor. If they don't see it, it's on us. I want to congratulate each and every member who was sworn in today. Your victory in the new term that begins today. I want to stop now and thank Philadelphians for giving me a chance to earn their support and for believing in me and my vision for the future of our city. When I started on this campaign, no one's gonna say it, but I'm gonna tell. Don't get mad. Sincere and Aaron are hollering at me somewhere. When I started out on this campaign, I want you to know that you crisscross the city and you talk to different constituencies. And sometimes you will talk to a people, and primarily the group will be based on race, a black group or a white group or a Latino group, or it will be a low to moderate income community. It will be a wealthy community or a working class community. And we had some experts who came to try to offer our little scrappy campaign some advice, because we weren't the biggest candidate in the field. And they said, well, what you should do is you should tell her that if she wants to win, when she goes to the Northeast, she should talk like this.
Yo, man, look, right. I'm a raw ball. She see me before I'm up
Her
uptown cooking.
should be
She
about
coming right now.
And so what about when, she comes back home to the home base in North Philadelphia, she's uptown or sitting in the hairdresser at a barbershop in West Philadelphia, or I've been in South Philadelphia, what am I supposed to do? I couldn't do anything, Philadelphia, but affirm not through words. I had to affirm through my actions that I was going to stay true to who I am, my story, my life, that I wasn't going to try to put on the image that Sherelle Parker is a bastion of perfection, and that if you would just vote for me, everything in our city would change. Because I'm standing on the shoulders of a people who prayed for me in the midst of it all. I could only be here because you, the people of our great city of Philadelphia, from all walks of life, who picked up what I put down when I said I won't allow race, class, socioeconomic status, zip code, religion, sexual orientation, or identity, that I would not allow any of that to change my message to you and or who I am. So on the day, while I do stand here as the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia,
100?
city,
Wait a minute, this is record breaking, boy.
I want you to know that I only get the opportunity to meet this moment because of each and every one of you, and for that, I am extremely grateful. Philadelphia, thank you for allowing me to be me. It's something that I'll never forget.
I'm putting this up live on YouTube, man, as soon as it's done. Now what? Welcome to 2024.
When I started talking about my background, y'all remember probably one of the first intros. People were asking me, we don't really see people doing that a whole lot. Like why you? You've been elected for X number of years. I've never heard you. I never thought you had a life that was so difficult, Sherelle. I mean, you've never said anything out loud like that before. Like, why hadn't you shared it? Where I come from, you do what you do, but I don't want any unnecessary, sorrow or sympathy for me. I don't want anybody lowering expectations, because you know that life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So I just didn't talk about it a whole lot. But because I shared it, I hope that everyone in this city will see something of themselves in me, and that you will have confidence, and that you will absorb a certain amount of grace that I know I get from you, that confidence and grace that will help me lead our city, and I hope that will help move our city forward. I want to say this to my young prince. Another thing people didn't want me to say out loud. My young prince, my son, my only child. Guess what? I told our first lady that as soon as he held the Bible, he said, Mom, he's so over this. He said, can I leave now? He's probably with Council President Johnson's children right now. But wherever you are, Langston, if you're under the sound of my voice and you can hear me, I want you to know that mommy and daddy love you more than anything else in this world. People were so shocked when they learned that my former husband and I worked extremely hard together, co-parenting our son, and they expected me to just whisper about it or walk with my head, held down and knock my shoulders back. But I just said, as I talk to people, you don't know how many people other folks like me it is out there, because people were coming up to me saying, Sherelle, I know it's possible right now. I think I'm going to pick up the phone and call y'all. I mean, y'all got along so well. I told them don't be getting no fancy ideas. But we do work well in co-parenting our son. Langston, we love you. I don't care what mommy does in her professional life. Our most important role, Ben Mullins and I, is as your mother and father, and we won't allow anything to get in the way of that. No career, no job, no service, nothing will take away
man,
from
she
my
gonna
mind.
kill it. She got it for the next
Take
8
me away from you,
years. They probably
We love
more than that.
I want to start on my message today by saying to each of you that by every statistic imaginable, I am not supposed to be standing here today. Why? Because it is true, for those of you who read it, I, Sherelle Parker, was a child who most people thought would never succeed. And they really did almost have me thinking the same thing. So right now, lots of people have been asking me, how do you feel? And I've been telling them that there are no words that I can explain the mix of emotions that I am feeling during this historic moment. I can only tell you that I have a deep-rooted sense of gratitude permeating in my heart and in my spirit, since the people of our great city have given me access to this opportunity to serve them in a manner and a role that many thought would be impossible, out of reach for someone like me. Sherelle, what do you mean? I mean, I want to say it out loud that I was born to a single teenage mother without my biological father present in my life. My grandparents raised me. Mommy, a domestic worker from Manning, South Carolina. Daddy, a disabled Navy veteran from Accomack County, Virginia, who received public assistance. You heard me on the trail talk about that colored money in books. Some people whisper to me, well, what does she mean when she says the public money? It means that my grandmother and my grandfather were on public assistance, that they had to receive food stamps and cash assistance to take care of me. I want you to know that were it not for their resilience, their stick-to-itiveness, I wouldn't be here. I want to say to my family, to my community that brought me up, who believed in me, they believed in the power of education, and they believed that it could change a life. They saw some things in me, and this is important when we look at the state of affairs in our city right now and what our young people are facing on a daily basis, because some people act like they are all growing up in Cosby-like families, and that is not the reality. I was the first college graduate in my family graduating from Lincoln University. I was the first graduate of an Ivy League institution acquiring a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Then I went on to a career as a certified secondary English teacher. For all the English teachers or teachers in general who are in the audience, don't forget to let people know how hard you work. Let them know you are NTE pass and Praxis pass teachers, and you are doing extremely hard work in our classrooms. I say all of this to let you know that two quotes are the foundation of the work that you've seen me do throughout my career. And if you, when you walked in, you looked on your seat, if you got a book that was an action plan on the back of your seat, raise your hand so so I can see if they gave out the action plans. Okay, I want you all to think about Sister Dr. Maya Angelou and a quote that she was often stating as she traveled across the country. She said that in life, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. The second quote comes from one of my favorite civil rights activists and authors, and is none other than the brilliant James Baldwin. And I truly think, and I want you to think about this through the lens of Philadelphians and what they think about those of us who are here on the stage, who are elected and who work in government, and they see us putting our hands on Bibles and getting sworn in, but they go back into their neighborhoods and they're thinking about these promises that we made, but they said, what about me? I don't see it. And so James Baldwin, he was often quoted as stating when people said that they supported civil rights, but he hadn't seen it, he would say, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. Then I want you to let those
my poetry's about to come out, y'all.
and
Now
to
y'all
hear
understand.
from my mouth to your ears that I cannot do this alone. I did not get to this stage by myself. I believe that right now and at this very moment, and I mean this with all my heart and spirit, there's a block party going on in heaven right now. And my ancestors are saying right now, even my mother and my father, took a lot of hours of therapy to say my biological father. They are saying, my single teenage mother and him, thank you, God, for being the vehicle that allowed us to bring Sherelle in the world. He even used them. My grandmother and my grandfather are listening, and Daddy is saying, Mary Mason, don't you talk so long. Some people, they don't even know, man, young people don't even know who Mary Mason is. But Daddy, that was my grandfather's nickname for me, and my great Aunt Vi, and my great grandmother, Big Murray, 31st and Lehigh. We may not have there, but all of our hard work, the fruits of our labor, look at what it's yielding right now. But this is what she better not ever do, because we'll come down from the heavens and touch her. If she ever thinks that any title she acquires, any academic credential she assumes, any professional development that she gets, any ounce of power that she gets, if she begins to get caught up in reading the headlines and getting used to people calling her Madam Mayor and feeling a tad bit haughty, we will touch her and remind her that the gifts that have been placed in you are not simply for you and your own personal advancement, but you have to use them to motivate, inspire, and encourage others and make a difference in the lives of the people of our great city.
Say, girl.
It is with this in mind that I want to make sure that I talk about what I promised to the people of the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, you gonna get a lot of niggas locked up now?
I want to acknowledge that promise, but I also want to acknowledge the shoulders who I stand on. Other women in this city is the path before me, who showed me the way.
Y'all niggas better get it right.
I couldn't make a promise like that which I am about to refer to
She about to clean up
had
too.
it not been for a lady named Augusta Alexander Clark, Augusty Clark. If I hadn't saw a brawler by the name of Joan Krajewski fighting for quality of life, and what about Roxanne Jones and C. Dolores Tucker and the first woman president of the City Council of Philadelphia, Anna C. Berner? I am not here but for their years service, and I want to give credit where credit is due because I stand on their shoulders. We lost Dr. Constance E. Clayton, who was the superintendent of schools when I was in the school district of Philadelphia. And she taught us that we, Philadelphia's children, were capable of anything if we received a high-quality, first-class education. My mentor, the one and only, the boss lady. Vincent Hughes would call her the boss with the hot sauce. I'm referring to none other than Councilwoman Marion Tasco. Thank you. Who raised me politically and governmentally and showed me the way to reach this historic moment. I am here but for my beloved boss lady. I stand on the shoulders of those women. And I've got to say about this gentleman, let me stop here and say this about this gentleman. You hear me talk about intergovernmental cooperation and working in a bipartisan manner. I'm not sure if Republican State Senator Ward is here or Leader Pittman or Leader Cutler or any of my Republican friends from Harrisburg are here. But I want you to know that I would not have known the value and why it was so essential for a Democrat from Philadelphia to have a relationship with a Republican who may have come from rural Pennsylvania had it not been for a guy who, when he got elected, I was 8 years old, right? He was tall and thin and had a whole lot of hair. He is now our Congressman, Dwight Evans. Give him a huge round of applause.
Well,
Dwight was the one who made me run for the State House. I wasn't interested. I said, who wants to go to Harrisburg? And Marion Tasco supported him, and he told me to go to Harrisburg, if you remember, and learn how to be a legislator. Thank you so very much, Dwight. It is some of the greatest value and professional development that I have ever added to my career, and to you, I want to say thank you. You all are familiar with Sonia Sanchez, the great poet, and she had a poem called Love Colored with an Iron Lace, and that is who these women are, and Dwight Evans is to me. It is because of them and because of their faith in me and your faith in me that I am standing here today. However, my Aunt Brenda is here. I don't know where she is. She said to me, so you are about to do something special and become the first woman, the 100th mayor, and the first little black girl from the 1900 block of Pittsfield Street to become mayor of the city of Philadelphia. And she says, well, what are you going to do when even before you get started, there are naysayers who doubt the ability to turn the challenges that this city is facing around? What are you going to do when you are trying to move forward and proffer solutions, but all some folks seem to want to do is to wallow in all that is wrong and discuss all of our woes as if where we are now is where we will have to be? What are you going to do when that happens? I made sure that I said to Aunt Brenda, and I want you all to hold on with me here. When you hear me begin talking about implementing the action plan that you have a tangible copy of, the reason why you have a copy of it is because it's a commitment to you, and that means I'm going to get it done because we gave our word, and when we are working to implement the goals that are included in that plan, and you hear some people doubting us before we even get started,
sorry, I'm doing this live.
I want you to say to them, don't throw shade on my Philly shine. And the reason why this is important is because sometimes we forget who we are. With all of our greatness, we forget what a mighty city that we really are. And so I want to say that promise that I made to people here in our city of Philadelphia, that when I swore this oath as Philadelphia's 100th mayor, first woman to hold the office in 341 years, that I would do so with humility, with respect for the 99 who came before me, and with the solemn promise that if we work together, Council President Johnson, members of this body, along with each and every one of you, we would make Philadelphia the safest, greenest big city in the nation with economic opportunity for all. I delivered that vision to you, members of this audience, residents in our great city of Philadelphia. You have responded in the affirmative, and for that, I want you to know I'm grateful. I know it's a tall order, but we don't want people doing what I call becoming expert AOPs. You know them because you have them in your own lives. These are expert articulators of problems. That can go around and around.
I see it all the time, yo. She hitting the
confirmation. Problem, but they are very, very, very short on delivering solutions. They will. It's a thing. They will begin to remind us that yes, it's true. A quarter of our citizens are living in poverty. That despite the progress in lowering the number of homicides, we still have far too many senseless shootings, too much gun violence, and too many illegal guns on the streets of Philadelphia. We know that our neighborhoods, they too have been struggling under lots of blight, illegal trash dumping, and nuisances that in essence degrade the quality of life and enjoyment of our blocks and of our communities at large. What I'm here to mention to each of you today is that we are going to be laser focused on developing and implementing solutions to address our challenges, and we're going to solve them for the people of our city. Because guess what you deserve to see? And this is going to sound like a novel idea. You deserve to see your tax dollars at work in your neighborhoods in a way that you can all see, touch, and feel. You deserve policies that come from the ground up, with the community involved at every step of the way. Gone are the days where we spend our time and energy focused on people, places, and things that encourage us to wallow in our walls. Hear me, we will not feed into that. As you heard me say, we are proud Philadelphians, and I hope you have watched what we've been putting down recently. If you pick up that action plan, you will also know that in recent weeks, we have assembled a team of cabinet members for my administration. And if you put them together, this group of men and women, they are bright, they are sharp, they are focused, and they all share one common denominator. Guess what they have in common? They all have a can-do spirit. They have a how spirit. They have we must rid our city of this culture of no in everything that we are trying to achieve. I want to make sure people know this. Nobody should ever come to me and tell me, Sherelle, I don't understand why we are changing the way we sharpen the pencils. We've been sharpening the pencils this way for 35 years, and I sharpen 10 pencils a day using the rotary pencil sharpener. And this is the only way we know how to sharpen pencils here in the city of Philadelphia. I want you to know that you will have lost my attention. We must have a mindset of how are we going to do what I call GTY. How are we going to get to yes? The
now
first
y'all
way
see
you get
how
to
I
yes
think.
is by doing this.
Same way.
You assemble a team of public servants with national reputations as experts in their field, from policing and public safety and organizational management and finance and economics and so many other areas. And I'm proud that we've appointed strong leaders with strong ties and experience in the city of Philadelphia.
Go,
so
y'all.
it's interesting that a lot of these people have lived here and worked here already.